Namaskar, I am Anubhav Ranjan and you are watching Ritam. Let's dive into the turbulent waters of Pakistan's political chaos, where a once celebrated cricket captain turned politician Imran Khan now stands at the epicenter of relentlessness, criticism, mass protests, and accusations of national betrayal. The man who promised Naya Pakistan seems to have delivered nothing but turmoil, mismanagement, and unprecedented unrest. As the nation walks unsteadily on the brink of chaos, the question arises, is Imran Khan truly a savior, or has he become the architect of Pakistan's decline? The Shehbaz Sharif-led government, faced with escalating unrest, took the drastic step of deploying the army in Islamabad on November 26, backed by Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi's recommendation under Article 245 of the Constitution. The military was granted sweeping powers, including shoot-at-sight orders to control the violent protest by Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf supporters. This decision followed an alarming escalation where PTI protesters rammed a vehicle into Rangers personnel, killing 6 security officials. Such actions, rather than evoking sympathy for Khan, have painted the movement as reckless and violent. The unraveling of Khan's political career, however, began long before. His fallout with Pakistan's powerful military, the very institution accused of engineering his rise to power in 2018, marked a turning point. Discontent with Khan's governance style, his policy decisions, and his brazen public criticism of military leadership fractured the alliance. The May 9, 2023 riots, where PTI supporters attacked military properties after Khan's arrest, solidified his entrenchment from establishment. To date, that day is remembered as the most audacious civilian revolt against the military, an act many Pakistanis still condemned as a betrayal of national unity. Khan's leadership has been marred by policy blunders, economic mismanagement, and authoritarian tendencies. During his tenure as Prime Minister, he introduced unsustainable populist measures such as fuel subsidies, which plunged the country deeper into debt. His government's decision to devalue the rupee and hike interest rates disproportionately affected the poor and middle class. Inflation soared, foreign investment dwindled, and economic growth stagnated, leaving Pakistan grappling with one of its worst financial crises. His foreign policy was equally erratic. His controversial outreach to the Taliban, inviting them to peace talks without preconditions, was widely criticized for undermining Afghanistan's government and emboldening militants. Meanwhile, his erratic diplomacy failed to build strategic alliances, leaving Pakistan isolated on the global stage. Even the handling of COVID-19, marked by inconsistent policies, drew sharp criticism as the nation's economy faltered and public health deteriorated. Domestically, Khan's government suppressed dissent and targeted opposition leaders and journalists, eroding Pakistan's democratic foundations. Allegations of enforced disappearances and media censorship during his rule further tarnished his image. His administration's poor handling of corruption charges only added fuel to the fire, with accusations of favoritism and lack of transparency undermining his claims of accountability. Imran Khan's ongoing legal battles, including his conviction on corruption charges related to the Al-Qadir Trust, have only deepened the crisis. His imprisonment has ignited protests, but the widespread violence and attacks on state institutions by PTI supporters have alienated many. Even his former allies criticize his inability to lead with vision or unite the country during critical junctures. It is time for Pakistan to reflect on its governance failures, as its authorities seem incapable of managing their own nation. From the unrest in Balochistan, where demands for independence highlight deep-rooted grievances, to their inability to address internal economic and political chaos, Pakistan's leadership remains in disarray. Yet, despite these glaring shortcomings, they continue to raise the Kashmir issue on international platforms, absurdly demanding its freedom from India when Kashmir has always been an integral part of India. This misplaced focus not only exposes their hypocrisy but also underscores their inability to prioritize the well-being of their own people. Furthermore, Pakistan's long-standing role as a haven for terrorism continues to threaten regional stability. By harboring extremist groups and fostering cross-border terrorism, the country has alienated itself from global allies and tarnished its credibility on the world stage. As the nation descends further into chaos, it must confront the harsh reality that nurturing terror networks has only deepened its own vows, making peace and progress an increasingly distant dream.